Good morning and a very warm welcome to Ljubljana in Slovenia for the ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup, and it's race 3. It's semi-final time and it's the women's C1 and the men's K1 in action today. Semi-finals get underway in just a few moments time, and then we'll have the finals later on today, 12 o'clock Central European time. Here on this fantastic venue, this little amphitheatre style venue in front of the majestic Sava River. The sun is shining, the stage is set, and we are ready for action. Well, yesterday the Italians had it all their way. 2 gold medals in the 2 events. And will we see Italian domination today? Well, we'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds. 22 gates are set over the course of this river, dropping 6 or 7 meters from start to finish, and perfect conditions. No wind, beautiful blue skies here in Slovenia, and the temperature, well, starting to rise, but certainly not too high, and certainly not as high as it was earlier on this week when, well, it was quite unpleasant for all of the athletes. So here are the World Cup standings after the first 2 races of the World Cup series, and Claire Jacquet of France leading the way. She of course won the race last weekend in Bratislava in Slovakia. But here is our start list for the women's canoe semi-final. 30 boats, the fastest 30 boats from the heats on Friday, have qualified through into this semi-final. They race in reverse order of their performance in the heats, and the top 10, only the top 10 in this semi-final run will go through to the final. So last off in the semi-final, Jessica Fox of Australia, the world champion in this event, the World Cup winner of 2018. She was fastest in the heats, and we'll anticipate big things from her later on. But the first of our competitors on this 22-gate course is a Slovenian paddler, so we would expect that world ranking of 74. Well, we would expect a stronger performance probably than that, as our first paddler, Leah Novak, launches her campaign for a place in this ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup 3 and into the final. Well, it's a good start here into the first of the 6 red and white upstream gates, and the green and white downstream gates are positioned on the course to present the challenge. You're not able to, if you touch the paddle or your boat or your body onto the poles, then that's a 2-second penalty, and if you miss a gate or you completely you incorrectly negotiate it, then that would be a 50-second penalty. And just watching there, well, it looks like a 2-second penalty on the downstream gate 5. Just picked up on the back of the buoyancy aid there for Leah Novak in her 3rd World Cup. Still really emerging from a junior ranks, 24th last year at the Junior World Championships. And whilst we're getting in the early stages of this semi-final, let's just talk through this 22-gate course, because this section here, through from the upstream gate 10 through to the downstream 17, so 6 gates in a row in the downstream direction, have really presented a challenge for these athletes. And a 50-second penalty on the downstream gate 7 for Leah Novak, and I have to say I didn't think she'd negotiated that gate 7 correctly. And unfortunately, that will not be enough to make it into the final later on today. So now coming down through the bottom, last 3 gates, 21, 22, and 20, and then sprinting towards the finish. Leah Novak of Slovenia sets the time to beat. Well, if we're talking about times to beat, then yesterday we saw the fastest raw times in the men's canoe event at around 80, well, just under 85 seconds. 84.97, I think, was the fastest raw time. So I think in this canoe women's event we would have definitely a time under 100 seconds to take the win. But already our next paddler, Eri Yagi of Japan has picked up a 50-second penalty on the first gate. So I know the Japanese team are here in force, and it's part of their Olympic selection process ahead of those Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, just around 400 days away. And the attention really starting to focus on those games in the Olympic qualification year. So the first global round of Olympic qualification will be at the ICF Canoe Slalom World Championships in La Seu d'Urgell in Spain at the end of September. And a lot of the athletes and teams really focused on that, not just performing at the World Championships, but also qualifying Olympic boat quota places. But it's unfortunately all gone wrong again for Eri Yagi of Japan, who is rejected by the water on the way into the upstream gate 10, washed away now, and whilst she might go back for the gates, it's all over. The clock is ticking, and that's just too much of a time loss. So an opportunity just to have a look at this whitewater course and catch an angle. When we see our next competitor, Ayano Sato of Japan, go off the start, just catch the angle as these athletes launch off the flat water at the top into this course, because within the first 20 metres of the course, here we see it, they have this really big drop, this legendary drop here in Tartan in Slovenia, and you've got to be pretty precise with your move as you come down there and not get washed away by the current. And as we see there, Ayano Sato of Japan just being pushed around the water, but she's recovered it well into the upstream gate 2, but a big time loss on the clock. So the Japanese team looking forward to being part of that Tokyo Olympic Games. And of course, Tokyo will become, I expect, the home of canoe slalom for the Japanese team. And Takuya Haneda won the bronze medal in Rio de Janeiro in the 2016 Games for Japan, and that was a real breakthrough for the Japanese team. Takuya was racing here yesterday in the men's C1 semi-final. Unfortunately, he didn't progress through into the final, but I'm sure we'll see much more of him as the season progresses, and certainly a real popular character over in Japan itself. So as we watch Ayano Sato of Japan coming into the upstream gate 10, then now has picked up a 2-second penalty on the downstream gate 9 as Ayano just takes a safer option there, the peel out option through 11 to 12, not the fastest on the time, but trying to deliver the gates as she comes down this course. But we will see, remember, these athletes are ranked in reverse order of the performance in the heat, so we almost certainly will see the time significantly coming down, and as I say, likely to go under 100 seconds for some of the world's best paddlers. And well, looking at who is on this start line, then we have Jessica Fox of Australia. Hasn't had things all her way after such a dominant season in 2018, but this is her opportunity to get things back on track ahead of a bit of a break in the international programme. And well, I'll talk you through some of the other names in a moment, as Ayano Sato of Japan, she does go into the lead, but that total time 150.47 is well and truly leaving the door open for those still to come. So at the moment, Ayano Sato of Japan leading ahead of Leah Novak of Slovenia and Eri Yagi of Japan, the top three. And another paddler from Japan now, it is Ren Mishima, now launching her campaign. So there's almost a battle within the race here, because we've obviously got semi-finals, we've got the top 30 boats looking for a place in the top 10 for the final, but this is also Japanese team selection, and it's a 50-second penalty for Ren Mishima of Japan there for missing gate 10, unless she can get back to it, which she is working hard to do. So Will she get in? And no. On the recirculation, rejected by the power of the white water here. And a 50-second penalty incurred. So it looks like an advantage to Ayano Sato of Japan in that Olympic selection process. And that process can be quite, well, you could describe it as brutal. So in a World Championships, each country gets the opportunity to enter up to 3 boats per category. But at the Olympic Games, then it is the opportunity only to enter 1 boat per category. So intense competition in every country to determine which boat goes to represent that country. So next up on the top of the course for Great Britain, it is Hannah Owen. So Hannah Owen with a world ranking of 188, based on the whitewater course at Lee Valley Whitewater Centre, and a great example of really a bit of legacy from those London Olympic Games in 2012. So Hannah started as a result of that facility, but being pushed around by the water a little bit on gate 5. So Hannah now having to recirculate and get back. No penalties incurred on that recirculation, other than the time that will tick away on the clock. Now into the upstream gate 8. Some great camera angles on this course, and you can see Hannah Owen is up on the split time. 10 seconds to the good at the moment, but again, another paddler struggling there to get into the upstream gate 10 and flushed out. And unfortunately they're rejected, so she's going around the back. That is a route, and it's perfectly allowed to do that, but clearly the time is slipping away. So that move from gate 9 to 10 causing a lot of problems in the early stages of this 30-boat semi-final. Remember, it's 30 boats racing it out for just 10 spots in this afternoon's final. That final will get underway at 12 o'clock Central European time. So Hannah Owen still having problems here on this middle section of the course. Particularly this move 14-15 is a very technical move, and 2 touches picked up on that middle section. So 4 seconds of penalties to add to that touch on gate 9. And this is, well, it's a good experience for Hannah Owen in her first Senior World Cup. And she'll be out to Liptovsky Mikuláš for the Junior and Under-23 European Championships in, well, that takes place, I think, starts on Thursday next week. So a number of Junior and Under-23 paddlers will make the journey from Slovenia over towards Slovakia to Liptovsky Mikuláš in the Tatra Mountains for those championships. But for Hannah Owen, into 3rd place provisionally. Just waiting to see. Yeah, 3rd place for Hannah Owen, 165.14. So at the moment it is Ayano Sato still leading for Japan with a total time 150.47. So this course proving challenging for the early runners in the semi-final. And on course now it is Victoria Dobrotvorska, who was in the final last weekend in Bratislava in the 2nd World Cup of this 2019 ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup season. We started in Great Britain, Lee Valley, on the London 2012 Olympic course. And Mallory Franklin of Great Britain was the gold medalist in that event. Then we moved on to Bratislava last weekend in Slovakia. And on that occasion, Claire Jacquet of France took the gold medal. And then this weekend, we're here in Ljubljana in Slovenia. And, well, semi-finals time, and we'll be looking to see who takes the gold medal. Neither Mallory Franklin nor Claire Jacquet are racing in this event. So who will take the gold medal? Well, we'll find that out at about 12:30 this afternoon, Central European time. But this is a good run coming together for Victoria Dobrotvorska, but just struggling on the final move and over the finish line into 1st place for Victoria Dobrovolska of the Ukraine. And, well, we'll have to wait and see if that's enough to make it through into the final later on. 1:40.85, so the time is coming down, but as I said, in order to win this semi-final and go off last in the final, I think you're going to need to be under 100 seconds. So next is a competitor from the People's Republic of China, Kushan Yu. So 23rd at the Under-23 World Championships last year, and bronze in the Asian Championships in 2017. But another paddler there, just underestimating that move from 9 to 10. So the power of the water there. Be interesting to see whether she's able to paddle back up, but the time is ticking away. Kushan Yu of the People's Republic of China now does get back for the upstream gate 10. Well done to you, because that's hard work, but it will have used valuable energy, and it's really important now to refocus as she comes down this 22 gate course. So Victoria Dobrovolska of the Ukraine, our early leader in this, the women's C1 semi-final. So today in action we have the women's C1, and then we'll have the men's K1. And if you are a little bit confused between the difference of a canoe and a kayak, well, we're watching the women's C1, the canoes. The women are kneeling in the boat with a single bladed paddle, and then following on from this semi-final we'll have the men's K1 semi-final, and those athletes are sitting in the boat with a double bladed paddle. So at the moment it is Kushan Yu of the People's Republic of China who's again going to be outside of that lead time of Victoria Dobrovolska of the Ukraine into 4th place, and disappointment there, and really a reflection of just how powerful the white water is here on this Tartan course. Next up, Margot Henry of France, 22-year-old paddler, again part of the French development team that are here this weekend in World Cup 3, but looking like she's putting a good run together at this stage. Clean, no penalties showing on the first 12 gates of this course. A little bit late into 14, and keeping it on track though, and keeping it, well, certainly on track to take the lead here. 11 seconds the advantage at the moment, 2 touches now confirmed as showing, and Margot Henry of France very nicely through the upstream gate 18 on the stopper there. It's one of those moves that if you really find the line, then the water will do the work for you, and feels really good and almost accelerates you back down towards the upstream gate 19. So Margot Henry now coming into the finish, and wow, into first place. 125.11 is her total. That does include 4 seconds of penalties, but into the race lead ahead of Victoria Dobrovolska of the Ukraine and Ayano Sato of Japan. Well, next up for Hungary, it is Julia Schmidt. She was 30th in Bratislava last weekend, but she's got a bit of a pedigree in this event. She was a silver medalist at the European Championships in both 2013 and 2014. So very capable of getting into the final today. But it is about delivering on this one semi-final run. And early penalty on gate 6, but she's in touch with the race leader, Margot Henry of France, as she gets safely into the eddy. Upstream gate 10, that's which has caused a lot of problems. No problems for Julia Schmidt of Hungary. But the time just slipping away. So important to keep the boat moving, keep the boat gliding forwards. If it's just being pushed around by the white water, then it's not going to be a quick time. And we'll get an indication of where Julia stacks up against current race leader. Well, still in touch with the race leader, Margot Henry of France, as she comes through the downstream gate 17 into this nice upstream 18 and delivers that very nicely. So 3 more gates to go on this course. There's the upstream gate 19. Now line up for the finish. This is where the lactic acid is building in the arms as she comes towards the finish. Julia Schmidt goes into the race, into the race lead very briefly, but a late touch on one of those last couple of gates. It was gate 21 and drops her into second place. Margot Henry of France leading the way ahead of Julia Schmidt of Hungary, Victoria Dobrovorska of the Ukraine in third. And next up, for Great Britain, it is Ailey Gibson. Ailey Gibson is, well, fresh from competing in Bratislava last weekend in World Cup 2. She finished 6th there. She was 4th at the World Championships in 2017. A few problems there on gate 5, but she's really minimised that time loss, having to go back for the gate. So now launching down towards the upstream gate 8. And we'll get an idea where she stacks up against the race leader, Margot Henry. Well, it's down on that time. 6.75 seconds down. And this is the critical section, and it looks like another problem there. The athlete's really getting held in that stopper on the run from 9 to 10. And wise choice there from Ailey. Really experienced paddler who chose to loop round quickly and reduce that time loss as she now sets up through 11, 12 and this ongoing relentless downstream sequence. 13, 14, it really tightens up 14 to 15, but Ailey Gibson of Great Britain is well, managing it down the course, but a 2-second penalty now picked up on 15, and the split time is slipping away. 15.4 seconds down on the race lead time. Margot Henry of France, and Ailey Gibson looks smooth, but she just hasn't found the rhythm of the whitewater. She hasn't been able to tune in and really work in harmony. That's where the fast times come on this Tartson whitewater course. Ailey Gibson of Great Britain goes into third place. So it is still Margot Henry of France leading ahead of Julia Schmidt of Hungary. Now Ailey Gibson of Great Britain in third place. So 10 boats down in this 30 boat semi-final, and still the fastest boats to come from the heats that took place on Friday here in well, on the outskirts of Ljubljana in Slovenia. Next on course, Hayley Daniels of Canada, 28-year-old who finished 43rd at the World Championships in 2018. They were in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil on the course from those Rio Olympic Games in 2016. A few penalties showing, and Hayley Daniels is stuck in that stopper. And will she manage to have the force to get into 10? No, she won't. Wisely loops around, but another big time loss there. So this course really producing some challenges for our women's C1 competitors. And well, it looks like Hayley Daniels has unfortunately picked up 50-second penalties, and yeah, that's not going to be, she's not going to get the upstream gate 10, and Hayley Daniels will not feature in that final later on. So 10 boats down still, Margot Henry of France leading the way, 125.11. As next up, it is Hannah Thomas of New Zealand. So she was 19th at the Junior World Championships last year in Ivrea in Italy, and well, grew up in the UK, paddled on the Lee Valley Whitewater course. That's how she got into the sport of canoe slalom, but recently emigrated to New Zealand and now racing for New Zealand. So good recovery there. She got a bit pushed around by the white water from gate 1 to gate 2, but a good recovery. Now she's got to work her way across to the upstream gate 4, coached by Sean Pierce, who was actually world champion on this course back in 1991 when Tarleton hosted the World Championships, and of course it's hosted those World Championships again since then in 2010. So it's certainly a venue that's been on the circuit for many years. Hannah Thomas now coming into the upstream gate 8. Well, just a 2-second penalty showing at the moment, but you can see 15 seconds down on Margot Henry of France. And another paddler there. Hannah Thomas rejected from 9 to 10. And, well, again, big time loss. It'll be interesting to see how much information is going up the river. For those still to come, whether any coaches are going up to the top of the course just to share any information and to remind the athletes to really give this move 9 to 10 a little bit of respect, because it clearly bites back and it's a big time loss if you're not able to get across to the upstream. Well, our course designers, Mike Druce and Mate Trumpet, have put in a good little challenging course. It certainly created some challenges to our competitors yesterday. In yesterday's racing, we saw the Italians dominate, 2 gold medals. So Roberta Cola-Zingari took the gold in the C1 men's event, and Stephanie Horn for Italy took gold in the women's K1 event. And of course this venue not that far from Italy, so a popular win in front of some strong supporters here in Ljubljana. Hannah Thomas into 6th place for New Zealand, so it's still Margot Henry leading the way ahead of Julia Schmidt of Hungary, Hayley Gibson of Great Britain, with 18 boats still to go in this semi-final of the women's C1. And next up, Quinn Teng of the People's Republic of China, definitely the top boat in the Chinese team, and she's almost come back a little bit. She was really emerging as a contender on the world stage back in 2012, 13 and 14. In fact, she took 2 World Cup podiums in 2014. Hasn't been on the scene so much in the last few years, so great to see her back competing. And will she be able to tame this tricky course? Well, it looks like she's certainly in touch with our race leader. A couple of penalties will hamper that, but she's certainly in touch with a place in the top 3 at the moment. 6.7 seconds down. Nicely through 18. Quinn Teng of the People's Republic of China now exits the upstream 19. It's going to be outside the race lead time of the French paddler Margot Henry, who is our race leader, but it's a good line to the finish and into 3rd place for Quinn Teng of the People's Republic of China. Well, our lead race time still 1:25.11, so quite a lot of time still to be had, and we're starting to get into some big names in this competition. It'd be interesting to see how much they're able to tame this tricky course. And next on course, Jana Matulkova of the Czech Republic. The Czechs are very strong in this event. Still to come, we've got Katarina Havlicova of the Czech Republic, who was the world champion in 2011. So a bit of damage limitation there. So Jana had to recirculate for gate 5, but not a lot of time lost. A bit low in the upstream gate 8, and already the time has slipped away compared to our race leader. Nearly a 15-second deficit on the first few gates. That said, nicely in from 9 to 10, no problems at all there for Jana Matulkova of the Czech Republic, and equally she looks like she's really attacking this offset sequence of gates through gates 11 through to 16. That's nicely done on 14 and 15, and she's really bringing the run alive now, and you can see that is reflected on the split time. 15 seconds she was down on the first split. Now she's closed it down to 6.5 seconds, and equally a very tidy upstream on the upstream 18. So Jana Matulkova of the Czech Republic now coming through the last couple of gates on this 22-gate course. The only blemish, really, a touch on the upstream gate 19, but it is only third place for Jana Matulkova of the Czech Republic. It is still Margot Henry of France leading the way ahead of Julia Schmidt of Hungary, Jana Matulkova of the Czech Republic. As we look at Ella Bregazzi of France, 22-year-old who lives in Poitiers in France. She was 17th at the Under-23 World Championships in 2017. And this, by my reckoning, is only her second ever World Cup. So will she take the opportunity? Well, she's taking it at the moment because she is up on the split at the top of the course. Just around a second up, and Margot Henry of France is our race leader. This is the critical part of the course, and in fact this is where Jana Matulkova really showed what is possible on the course, this middle section. Ella Bregazzi coming in through gate 14. It's a good spin as long as she stays off the poles. This is a tidy run coming together, and we'll get an indication on the split, and she has found some time. 4.5 seconds she has found over Margot Henry. So we are looking at our virtual race leader as she comes into the final gates on the course. Ella Bregazzi of France now into the upstream gate 19. You see how she switches the paddle to optimize the lines, and it's working really well for her. She has picked up a 2-second penalty on gate 19, but surely Ella Bregazzi of Spain is going to take the race lead. She does, and the time is now coming down. 1:21.87, the new time to beat. Well, from France, we're now going to Australia, because next up on the course it's Naomi Fox of Australia. She just missed out on the final last weekend in Bratislava, and again actually 12th in Lee Valley, so disappointment there. Can she make it her first final of this ICF World Cup season? Naomi Fox, the younger sister of Jessica Fox, the World Cup champion and world champion of 2018. Well, she's had a little bit of a mistake again on gate 5, but looks like she has minimised that damage, and she comes into the middle section up. But another one rejected on 9 to 10. Naomi just didn't really get the line, so she could be attacking from river right to river left, and well, 2 50-second penalties, and that's a big surprise. Naomi Fox of Australia will not be progressing into the final. So Ella Bregazzi of France still leading the race as Naomi Fox paddles out her run. Disappointment for sure for the young Australian, because that was certainly a performance that, well, she could easily have made it through to the final, but that mistake, gate 9 to 10, proved costly. So next to start for Slovakia, it's Simona Glečeková, 17th at the Under-23 World Championships and a finalist here at the World Cup in 2016. So very capable of getting into the final. Remember, we've got 30 boats racing in this semi-final, and just 10 will go through into this afternoon's final. Well, she's certainly attacking the course and got the feel of the white water, because she took a penalty on gate 2. She was too tight into the upstream. So nicely through 4. This is now the crunch section. Going to work your way through the stopper all the way across to gate 5. And nicely done there. Takes a safe option. Will spin out in the eddy to go back for gate 6 and 7. Got to make sure you don't lose any more time than is necessary. Semi-final doesn't count for anything in the final, other than you've got to be in those top 10 places to fight again in that final. So you can see she has lost time on Ella Bugazzi of France, the current race leader. Nicely done through 9 to 10. That's been the real challenge between some of our competitors in this women's C1 semi-final. Not quite respecting how much power that stopper has and how much it pushes you back out into the middle of the river. So another penalty picked up, it looks like, on the downstream gate 12. But Simona Glechikova of Slovakia now, well, stabilising that deficit, 5.6 seconds. So she has trimmed a little bit off that compared to the first split on the exit of the upstream gate 8. Simona looks tidy as she comes through gate 18 into the final of the red and white upstream gates, gate 19. And now paddling out to finish. 3 touches, 6 seconds in penalties on her time. She's going to be outside the race lead time and into 3rd place. So at this stage in the competition, we're now over halfway through this women's C1 semi-final, and Ella Bregazzi of France is leading ahead of Margot Henry of France, and Simona Glechikova of Slovakia is in 3rd place. So on course, the popular paddler, world champion from 2011, Katarina Havlicova of the Czech Republic, wearing bib number 13 here. Now, hopefully that'll be lucky for her as she comes through into the upstream gate 4. A little bit low, but this next sequence, 4, 5, 6 and 7, will determine her destiny for a place in the final. And, well, it was a superb line from 4 to 5. And potentially she could have carried that on through, but she takes the safe option and just loops round between 5 and 6. No penalties incurred though, but you can see the time has slipped away on that top section just through playing a little bit too safe. 11.23 seconds the deficit. And wow, that's how to do it. Katarina Havlicova of the Czech Republic. No problems, 9 to 10. So Katarina, very compact paddler, very powerful and good on the big white water. But trailing at this stage in the competition, 11.23 seconds down on the race lead time. And well, she's trimmed that. She has trimmed it down to 7.79. And well, the way this semi-final is unfolding, then the time range is going to be quite high to get in the final. So it's very much still in the hunt for Katarina Havlicova of the Czech Republic, now coming into the final upstream gate. Digging deep into her energy reserves now. Really working hard, the lactic acid building in those arms. Through 21, through 22, but a late touch, well, that could be costly. And that goes on and into 4th place for Katarina Havlicova of the Czech Republic. And, well, you can't afford those late mistakes when you're already on your back foot. So Ella Bugazzi of France still leading the way, 121.87. So, on course now, it is competitor from Italy, it's Chiara Sabatini, but already, unfortunately, a 50-second penalty on the downstream gate 1, the first gate on this 22-gate course, down the big drop here in Tarsen on the River Sava. And, well, it's unlikely to be enough to get into the final with a 50-second penalty. That said, it's a smooth run coming together for Chiara Sabatini of Italy. And of course the Italians took 2 gold medals in this competition yesterday, so mood is strong in the camp as they came into this morning's racing. Ella Bugatti of France still leading the way, ahead of Margot Henri of France. Julia Schmidt of Hungary is 3rd at the moment. And Katarina Havlichova of the Czech Republic 4th. Jana Matulkova of the Czech Republic is 5th. So we've had, Chiara Sabatini is the 19th person down in this 30-boat semi-final. So my calculations would suggest we have 11 boats still to go. And, on the top part of the course, the next boat is Marjorie Delassus of France. So already at the moment it's a French 1-2. Can they make it a French top 3? As Chiara Sabatini for Italy goes into 15th place and won't feature in this afternoon's final. Well, Marjorie Delassus nails the move through 3 to 4. She looks like she's really fluid. Now, what can she do on 5? Great move there, spins through 5. Just has to take a touch on gate 6, but it's going to be quick for Delassus of France as she comes into the upstream gate 8. Surely this is going to challenge our race lead from Ella Brigazzi of France, and it does. 5 seconds she's found on the top section alone, but rejected. Oh, it's all gone wrong. She goes from the virtual race leader to suddenly out of this race. And, she has recovered it well. It'll be interesting to see whether she can come back from that position. But I think the time loss is too great, unfortunately, for Marjorie Delassus of France as she comes through gate 11 to 12. Well, it just shows how cruel the sport of canoe slalom can be. So she did all that was asked of her on the top section, and then that gate 9 to 10, it stung her big time. Look at that. Well, 12 seconds down. She might still be in the hunt now. Certainly, considering the scale of the mistake, then she's managed to tame the time a little bit. And good on 18. She's kept her focus. And in and out of the upstream gate 19. She's going to be outside of the race lead time, but she has found some time on the bottom section. And Marjorie Delassus of France goes into 4th place. So Ella Brigazzi leads for France ahead of Margot Henri of France. Then it's Julia Schmidt of Hungary, and then France in 4th place. But now Lena Stöcklin of Germany, as it says on the screen, a World Cup medalist in 2017, so no stranger to a final, but in trouble already on that cross from gate 3, the downstream, into gate 4. And well, she's recovered it, she's into the eddy, but not only will it have cost her time, but she's had to work really hard. The energy level, she's used and expended some major amounts of energy there, which could have been used elsewhere on the course. But a good little move, 5, 6, 7. Lena Stöcklin has delivered that move, but you can see the time surfing the hole has been expensive. And talking of expensive, a 50-second penalty given on the downstream gate 5. So Lena Stöcklin of Germany, unfortunately, that time loss and the 50-second penalty is unlikely to feature. She was 12th last weekend in Bratislava. She was a finalist at the World Championships last year in Brazil. So a bit of a shock here that she's not going to progress into the final. Germany sending a bit of a B team here to the 3rd World Cup of the 2019 ICF Canoe Slalom season. And of course, though, in order to get into a German team, then you've got to be a pretty solid boat, and that just the depth of standard shows. And Lena Stöcklin showing her form, although it's not going to be today. So outside of the final, into 16th place for Lena Stöcklin of Germany. And we are now at a position where we can confirm our first qualifier. Ella Brigazzi of France, 1:21.87 is the time to beat our current race leader, and she is in the final. But next up, the exciting young American, Evie Liebfarth of the United States of America. Just 15 years of age, in her second World Cup race ever. Last weekend she made the final in both events, the kayak and the canoe, and yesterday she made the kayak event, and look at this, she's up on the split and she nails the move, gate 9 to 10. Well, she races without fear, and this is an excellent example of someone really attacking the course. Evie Liebfarth of the United States of America, lighting up our day here in Tarsen in Slovenia. Well, look at that, she's extended the advantage. Oh, she's got some of this dirty water from Tarsen. You see how the water swirls around a little bit. She has to paddle uphill, but 12 seconds was her advantage as she went through gate 16. Now she's got to keep her focus. She's surely into the final, and what a story that would be. In and out of the upstream, gate 19. Evie Liebfarth of the United States of America, just 15 years of age, has delivered an outstanding run, and wow, into the final. Well done, Evie. 1:09.95, and she smashes the opposition. Well, what a great story there. So 4 finals from 4 starts in 2 World Cups. That's a pretty outstanding record, and she's only 15 years old. But I'm sure you can hear the noise starting to build now as the Slovenian fans gather their klaxons, their vuvuzelas, as we have Slovenian Eva Alina Hodcheva on course. So again, another young paddler. Eva is just outside juniors, and she was 4th at the Junior World Championships last year. Competed in these competitions, these World Cups, the 23rd at the first World Cup of the 2019 season in Lee Valley, Great Britain. Then last weekend in Bratislava, she was 10th. So she made the final last weekend, and, well, 52.83 her split time, 7.22 down, but that is in touch with a place in the final. Remember, Evie Liebfarth of the United States has certainly set the pace, and there's a big gap behind her. So Eva Alina Hodcheva just needs to stay composed, keep clean, no more penalties than absolutely necessary, and she could be joining Evie Liebfarth and Ella Brigazzi in that 10-boat final later on. That gets underway at 12 o'clock Central European time. Eva Alina Hodcheva now nicely through 18. You see just how to, if you put the boat in the right place on that move, you can let the water do the work. Now, surely this is going to be enough to make it through into the final for Hodcheva of Slovenia. The local crowd are making noise, and into second place. So Evie Liebfarth of the United States leads ahead of Eva Alina Hodcheva of Slovenia and Ella Brigazzi of France. Those 3 qualified through, and now 7 to go in this women's canoe semi-final. Next on course, Rosalind Lawrence of Australia. So we'd expect a quick time from Ros. A little bit low in the upstream gate 4, but this is the critical move. This is going to determine whether she makes it through into the final or not, and nicely done by Ros Lawrence. Showing real composure there. She was 22nd in Lee Valley, 38th in Bratislava, so she hasn't had the season start that she would have liked, because she's a regular. Well, she won the World Cup title in 2011 and 2012, and was 7th, a finalist at last year's World Championships. But we're seeing much more what we'd expect of Rosalind Lawrence there on this semi-final run, and she was in touch on the split with our race leader, and if she can stay, well, even within 5 seconds of that split, as we get an indication now, which she does, then she's definitely on track for a place in the final. So takes the lower line from 16 to 17 below the rock. Gives a bit more space on the upstream 18, but Rosalind Lawrence of Australia paddling comfortably into the final. But it does look, a penalty picked up on the upstream gate 19. But Rosalind Lawrence of Australia surely has done enough to take second place here as she crosses the line. 110.75, and that includes a 2-second penalty. So you can see it's a 108 kind of time, and there's still some time in this course as we get towards the final 6 paddlers in the semi-final. Ana Shatila of Brazil is our next competitor. World ranking of number 4 in the world, and bronze medalist at the World Championships in 2017. And that was Brazil's first ever World Championship medal in canoe slalom. So she made history in 2017 for Brazil. So Ana Shatila, always an exciting attacking paddler, and she is doing that now. She's keeping it clean, she's really working with the white water, and she's up on our race lead time. 3.81 seconds up. Now she's got to make sure she delivers this 9 to 10 move. Oh, in through the back door, but she has rescued it. But some of that advantage will have been trimmed over Evie Liebfarth of the United States. But stylish move there, 11-12, looking very composed indeed. Ana Shatila actually looking very smooth. Sometimes she can be looking like a real risk taker, and not on this occasion. She's really smooth. She's up on the split, only just, but that's all that's required to make it into the final. That's where we will go and shoot out for medals later on today. So Ana Shatila of Brazil now surely on track for a place in this final here in the sunshine. Let's have a look as she comes across the finish line. Wow, look at that, 105.59. And well, let's just remember she had some big time losses on that run, which just shows the kind of time that is still possible on this course. Into first place for Ana Shatila of Brazil and into the final. So next up it's Nadine Vrachnik of Austria. Safely through the first couple of gates on this course. She was 23rd last weekend in Bratislava, which was disappointment by her standards. And well, penalty picked up on gate 4. Now this is where she needs to do the business, and she's done it well, but has to loop back for gate 6. Doesn't quite get the powers down enough through gate 5, and has to get back for gate 6, and adds a penalty to her tally. So suddenly Nadine Vrachnik is up against it as she comes into the upstream gate 8. So she's an under-23 world champion last year, and she was actually 4th at the 2018 Senior World Championships, so very capable. But on today, another one writes her name into the history books. Nadine Vrachnik slipping away there. Well, great quick recovery, but the time loss is starting to add up now. And it looks like, well, it may be just too much to ask for Nadine Vrachnik of Austria to make it through into the final, as she's dropped below 14 and it's slipping away. So Ana Shatila leading for Brazil. Evie Liebfarth of the United States is second. Rosalind Lawrence of Australia is third. Eva Alina Hochevar is fourth. Ella Brighezzi of France, the early race leader, is fifth. Those 5 are into the final. And I have to say, well, we can confirm now because we've just seen the time change hands. Margot Henry of France is our 6th qualifier. So Nadine Vrachnik of Austria not going to be in the final this afternoon here in Ljubljana in Slovenia. And into 14th place, disappointment for the young Austrian. So 4 boats still to go in this women's C1 semi-final. And here's a paddler who will be full of energy because she took a bronze medal yesterday in the women's K1 event. Victoria Us of the Ukraine produced a flawless performance in that final to take the bronze medal. She's ducking and diving on 5, 6 and 7. And a 50-second penalty picked up on the gate 5, so the party has been dampened, I'm afraid. And Victoria Us looks like she's not going to make it through into the final today. And again, rejected from 9 to 10. Ana Shatila of Brazil, still our race leader. And well, still to come, we've got some big names, particularly Victoria Wolfhard of Austria and Jessica Fox of Australia. But Victoria Us of the Ukraine now coming down the middle section of this 22-gate course. But I think it's too much to ask here. We'll get a split time, 74 seconds down. And well, it will be bad news for Victoria Us, but good news for Julia Schmidt of Hungary, because Julia Schmidt of Hungary will make it through in our 7th spot in the final. So the third of our Slovenian competitors is on course now. Alia Kozorog. She qualified in 3rd place in the heats, so a strong performance. And well, she'll know what she has to do to get into the final. The vuvuzelas are sounding out behind me in the grandstand, and there's a strong Slovenian support. Well, justifiably, they were pleased yesterday. 2 silver medals in the events yesterday. And of course, the big name, Peter Kauser, will be racing in the K1 men's semi-finals, and well, they hope in the finals too later on. So Alia Kozorog now is going to be outside of the time set by Ana Shatila, but 5.76 is comfortably inside the time it would take to qualify through into the final. No problems from 9 to 10 for Alia. She takes on this move through gate 11, just making sure she doesn't take unnecessary risks. And well, first penalty showing there on the touch on gate 13. Looked like the paddle shaft of her paddle just picked up that 2-second penalty. 7 seconds the deficit. Well, that is all that's required at the moment. She needs to be within 21 seconds of the race leader, and that's Ana Shatila of Brazil, to take a place in the final. Essentially, it is Marjorie Delassus of France sitting waiting to see whether she's done enough, and it looks like that next place is going to go to Alia Kozorog of Slovenia. She comes through to the finish to a big applause from the Slovenian crowd, because well done, Alia, you are into this afternoon's final. 2 to go in this women's C1 semi-final, and on course Victoria Wolfhard of Austria, the European champion of 2018. A little low into gate 2. She has dropped a bit of time, but very capable of finding some time, but she's low into 4 as well. That said though, just look at her boat speed. She's definitely attacking this course, carries the boat speed, and she goes for this move. A little bit safe, but it's certainly not slow. She delivers the move 5, 6 and 7. And she will be down on the split of Ana Shatila of Brazil. And that's really down to those 2 upstream gates where she dropped low, but she's in touch with a place in the final. Importantly, comfortably through gate 9 to 10. Lifts the boat, that's the key. Is lifts the boat into that eddy and avoids the big kick that pushes you back out into the middle of the river. So just look, a penalty is awarded on gate 1. but that will still not hamper Victoria's chances of making it through into the final if she can stay on track, and she does that. Yes, she's 9 seconds nearly down, but that is on track for a place in this afternoon's final. Victoria Wolfhardt of Austria, nicely through 18. Of course, we've got extreme canoe slalom to come as well this afternoon, so the finals start at 12 o'clock Central European time, and then the extreme canoe slalom head-to-head racing is gets underway at 3 o'clock Central European time. But well done to Victoria Wolfhardt. It's probably not the run she quite wanted, but into 4th place and importantly into the final. So just one place still to be decided. It is Marjorie Delassus currently sitting in 10th place for France, essentially ahead of Jessica Fox of Australia, 4-time world champion in this event, celebrated her 25th birthday a couple of weeks ago, and she's the most decorated world championship medalist in the history of canoe slalom, but problems on 4 to 5. So that will cost her time, but someone of Jessica's caliber can still absorb that and make it through into the final. So comes into the upstream gate 8, needs to find her rhythm now. She's down nearly 10 seconds on the early split time, but if she can just keep it composed, keep it calm, then we will see Australia's Jessica Fox in the women's C1 final. She got the bronze medal in Lee Valley at the first World Cup of the season, but she was only 11th last weekend in Bratislava, and yesterday in the kayak event, a surprise exit, she went out in the semi-finals. So look at that, she's trimmed that deficit, she's found some time in the middle section, so 5 seconds down on the split. So we're not going to see a time around 100 seconds on this occasion, but I'm sure that is easily possible if one of these top athletes finds the groove in the final. Jessica Fox, though, looks like she is going to take 2nd place as she comes across the finish line and into the final for Jessica Fox of Australia. She'll, well, she looks relieved there because she knows there's still quite a bit of time, particularly in that move, gate 4, 5 and 6. So at the moment, the provisional results of the qualifiers into this afternoon's women's C1 semi-final. After the semi-finals, it's Ana Chatila of Brazil. She will go off last as the winner of the semi-finals. Jessica Fox of Australia joins her. Evie Liebfarth, the 15-year-old sensation from the United States, goes off 3rd from last. Joining those 3, Rosalind Lawrence of Australia, Victoria Wolfhardt of Austria, Eva Elena Hocheva of Slovenia, Alia Kozarog of Slovenia, Ella Brigazzi of France, Marga Henri of France, and Julia Schmidt of Hungary. So Julia Schmidt will lead those off in this afternoon's final, starting at 12 o'clock Central European time. You can follow that on Planet Canoe. But up next, we will have the K1 men, the men's kayak singles semi-finals. So here we have it, the confirmation of the results of the semi-final, and the top 10 there, the qualifiers. Ana Chatila of Brazil goes off last in that final. Jessica Fox making it safely through, and Evie Liebfarth of the United States also is putting another strong performance. I guess big names to miss out. Ailey Gibson of Great Britain, you would expect her to have been in the final. And also probably another big name would be the Austrian Nadine Verachnik. You would have expected to be in that final. But look at the weather here in Slovenia. Blue sky and no wind. So perfect conditions for racing. The poles not moving at all. And the temperatures, well, they have calmed down a bit from the middle of the week where they were in the very late 30s. And we're now into bearable temperatures this weekend. But here's the World Cup standings after the two races. Yuri Priskovic of the Czech Republic, the Olympic medalist from Rio, the world champion from 2015. He is leading the way, and we'll see him racing in this semi-final. So the men's kayak semi-final, 40 boats qualified through on Friday's heats, and they're racing in reverse order of that performance in the heats. But still just 10 places up for grabs in the final. And that final will follow on from the women's C1 final early on this afternoon. Coverage starts at 12 o'clock Central European time, and then around about 12:30 we'll be up with the men's kayak final. Big name, Peter Kauser of Slovenia. A lot of people here to support Peter Kauser, the Kauser Army as they call it. Very noisy bunch, and they'll be looking for a strong performance. Joseph Clark of Great Britain, winner of the first World Cup in Lee Valley. Didn't race last weekend in Bratislava, but he will be off last. He was the fastest in the heats. And we have all three of our medalists from the Rio Olympic Games racing in this men's K1 semi-final. So eager anticipation on this, what will be quite a short course in the competition. We saw the men's C1 yesterday get down to just under 85 seconds, and I would confidently predict that to win this semi-final you need to be under 80 seconds. So not many races in the season will get down to that kind of time, and therefore you can't really afford to make any mistakes because there's very little space in the course to find that time. So we are going to get underway with racing. 40 boats racing for just 10 places in this men's K1 final later on today, and we are led off by Noah Hegg of Germany. So the German men's kayak team taking a rest this weekend. Hannes Eigner, of course, the world champion, has been in strong form, but he's well, taking a rest, focusing ahead of the World Championships in September. And strong nation, though, so anyone who comes in on the B team can still be capable of getting into the mix. 2-second penalty early on in the course. And again, when you look at the run time of under 80 seconds, then we are, well, it's difficult to absorb any kind of penalty. So we would be expecting clean runs unless you can really produce something special and maybe absorb one penalty, a 2-second penalty. So Noah Hegg of Germany is setting a strong pace as he comes into the upstream gate 18. But a little bit tight on the upstream, takes a touch with the paddle blade. And now just showing that the 4 seconds of penalties is just making his time slip away. It's a respectable run for Noah Hegg of Germany, but it is leaving the door open. A 90.46, so it's an 86.46 run time. And, well, he will be disappointed with that from the penalties perspective, but good experience. That is a respectable run. So next to start from Morocco, it's Matisse Soudi, wearing bib number 44 over this iconic drop here in Tartzen. We're on the outskirts of Ljubljana in Slovenia. great country just at the end of the Alps. This river, the river Sava, is actually quite cold because the water comes straight from the Alps. As well, we see there Mattis has to take a little unconventional route through gate 4. That will cost him on the clock. It looks like penalties wise he's fine, and he's done very nicely through 4, 5, 6 and 7. That's really smooth. Quite high risk to go for the move, but you can see what you get when you return. But the time unfortunately has slipped away as a result of that mistake on gate 4. Still to come in this men's K1 semi-final. We've got some big names. We've got the world number 1, Vit Prindis of the Czech Republic. So he was the European champion 2019. He was 7th last weekend in Bratislava, but he missed the final in the Lee Valley first World Cup race of the season. We've also got Jiri Priskovic, again of the Czech Republic, World Cup champion 2018 and current leader of the World Cup after the first 2 races of the season. We've got Joe Clark from Great Britain, the Olympic champion, winner of the first World Cup of the season. And we've got Peter Kauser of Slovenia, so finalist in both the first 2 World Cup races of the year. And of course looking to perform in front of his home crowd here. So Mati Sudi of Morocco goes into 2nd place behind Noah Hager of Germany. So it's now Jack Dangan of New Zealand on course, and Jack is well, again, he can really put some strong performances down as he comes into this upstream gate 4. And well, myself, Andy Maddock, bringing you the action here live from the men's K1 semi-final, and joining me in the commentary box, a warm welcome to Thomas Kirklin of the Swiss team.
Hey guys, everyone, glad to be here. It's a very lovely day, very excited to see all those nice semi-finals.
So this men's K1 semi-final, well, I was just saying, Thomas, that I think in order to take the win here, you've got to go under 80 seconds. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, I think it's a good time. I think it will be around this, probably.
So you paddled on this course yesterday in the competition, in the men's C1 competition. Where were the big challenges that you highlight?
Everywhere, man. This course is very challenging. The water is moving so much, and you have to keep your eyes wide open and to adapt yourself every time. And the thing the most important is to keep pushing all the time, keep the speed. It's the way it helps you to go through those bubbles and those bad moves.
Well, it looks like Jack Dangan's got into 2nd place, 92.48. But, well, if that's the case, yeah, a bit disappointing there for the young Kiwi paddler, because he's definitely capable of finding that pace. But it's so hard here if you lose your rhythm in the early part of the course, it's so hard to get that back.
Yeah, it is. But we've seen yesterday some boats who were pretty late in the beginning and managed to finish strong. So we'll see, but it's very, very important to smash those gate 3, 4, 5, and I think one of the most difficult parts is gate 5 and 6.
Well, here we have gate 5, 6 and 7. Well, nicely done by Mario Leitner of Austria, who was the junior world champion in 2014. And since then he's won an under-23 medal in 2017, and he's up on the split. And he's looking really, really composed, and he looks like he's found that.
Yeah, it seems that he has found the rhythm of the course, and he's very smooth for now.
Well, this is a critical section here because there's a lot of time trades hands here, and I thought he was going to take it on forwards.
Almost, but it's pretty fast anyway.
I think he will still have an advantage. In fact, he has extended his advantage.
And he's getting high behind the rock. It was pretty fast.
Well, 18. Oh, well, he's taken a touch on 18, and that will remove the advantage. So suddenly, he's facing a time that is more vulnerable.
Yeah, I think his run was pretty smooth, but not fast enough to make it into the final with a touch. I think that's my opinion.
Well, his time, yes, 88.92. It includes a 2-second penalty. So he does take the early race lead, but we've only had 4 boats down in this 40-boat semi-final and just 10 spots. And we know in the men's kayak event it could be, I would describe it even as brutal, the nature of how tight it can be to get into that top 10.
Yeah, that's the word, yeah.
Well, here's a name to watch who maybe he's not quite at his best, but Vavra Hradlek of the Czech Republic, 2013 world champion and Olympic silver medalist in 2012.
Yeah, so exciting to see racing this man. So much power, and he's paddling with so much fun, with so much energy, but very relaxed at the same time. I love watching that. And he cut pretty low.
Well, he took the risky move because he went on the back of the stopper, which is the fastest line, and he nearly delivered it, but
almost. Yeah,
he had to go back for the gates. It's well, be interesting to see how much time he's lost.
A lot, I'm afraid.
Yeah, look at that, nearly 5 seconds down. So he clearly had a good top section, though, because I suspect he actually lost more than that on that move.
Yeah, true. But I think it's a good decision to make the final. Those guys will have to do this move this way, you know, straight under the stopper.
Well, and there we go, the first person to take that move on straight, and look at that, he's trimmed the deficit.
Yeah.
So Vavra Hradlek of the Czech Republic showing us why he was world champion in 2013.
Whoa.
But he's cut the lines too much, and well, he will go back for 18, I'm sure, but that's surely eliminated him from a place in the final.
Yeah, he took many risks to finish, to try to get his ticket, but unfortunately couldn't finish.
Yeah, and he's now picked up a penalty on the upstream gate 19, so disappointment there, and still not a final for Vavra in the 2019 season.
Yeah, I am sure he'll make it pretty soon. He's rebuilding his navigation, you know, and he will make it.
Yes, and of course the World Cup final will be in Prague on his home water in the first weekend in September, so he'll be looking forward to that. As we look at our next competitor from France, Simon N, and now it looks well, it took a big hit on the top of the course, but he's keeping it smooth.
Yeah, he's pretty technique paddler. He's not pushing so much. He's using very straight lines to keep being fast, but that was very, very straight.
Well, let's hope he hasn't picked up any penalties there, because that looked a tidy move, and he is in touch on the top section.
Still no penalty, maybe. Yeah, he was probably in, so he stayed focused, he keeps pushing, and he's doing very well in this downstream.
Well, the French team have sent a young development team, but they are certainly capable, but he gets pushed really wide there on 13.
Yeah, it's pretty hard on gate 13 not to get pushed on the right side, and there is some small bubbles just after gate 13, which makes the move even harder.
So now coming into the upstream 18, and suddenly the deficit is quite a large one, 4.35 seconds.
Whoa.
And now slipping away on the final upstream.
Yeah, this is a shame. I think he maybe not, he wasn't as focused at the end as in the beginning because of these mistakes, and with the touch he lost a lot of time.
So Simon N of France into 4th place. Mario Leitner still leading for Austria, ahead of Noah Hager of Germany. Jack Dangan of New Zealand in 3rd. But yeah, we would expect that time still to come down. 88.92 is the current race lead time, but I think it's going to start in the 7 if you want to go off last in the final.
Hey, here is my teammate Lucas. His birthday today. Happy birthday, bro. And I hope you will offer yourself a good run.
Well, that would be a good birthday present for him if he makes it through into the final. So he's 16th at the Lee Valley World Cup, then it's the other way around, 16th in Bratislava, and then 31st in Lee Valley.
Oh,
but,
man.
Well, he has fought back. He has lost time, but that's a pretty good recovery. He didn't have to loop back.
He did great. Yeah, Lucas is battling stronger and stronger month after month, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the final pretty soon. But today it seemed a bit difficult. I mean, he's just picking up a touch on gate 10. It's a shame. So another one.
Another penalty on 11. It looks like it's not going to be the birthday present of a final for Lucas today, but he's still putting a respectable run in today, and I think that's what we're going to see in this semi-final. Is people know how tight it's going to be to make it into the top 10, so there's a huge amount of risk taking, and when that risk goes wrong, then sometimes the wheels fall off the machine.
True, but it's always worth continuing and worth pushing till the end, because for now we haven't seen any very good run, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the cut around more 85 probably.
Yes, well, I would agree, and we saw that in the women's C1 event. The margin, the gap between first and 10th was quite significant. So into 5th place for Lucas Vero of Switzerland. And Mario Leitner still leading for Austria in the early stages of this 40-boat men's K1 semi-final here. Beautiful sunshine on this great course. Which is your favourite part? Forget the gate sequence. Which is your favourite part of the course here in Ljubljana?
I think I love the first drop and the stopper right after, which is so fun to go through.
Yeah, I think most people would say that, except when there's a difficult gate sequence set on it. So,
very nicely done for Stefan Hengst. He's a pretty young guy who is getting better and better. We have seen this winter he was very, very good, very fast, and unfortunately sometimes he's picked up some touches, and I'm afraid that's what happened today. He's picked up an early touch.
So Stefan Hengst of Germany is at the moment trailing by 2.86 seconds.
Boom. Well done.
But using his strength and positioning there. Will he take this move forwards? No, he goes for the spin. So far, only Hradlek of the Czech Republic has done that. But, well, he's certainly minimised any extra loss, and he's got good water. I was going to say he's got good water through 16 to 17, but it was almost, it pushed him too far wide.
Yeah, he decided to go under the second block, and that is the most direct line, but the problem is that the water can move very badly and push you outside of the line.
Well, into third place for Stefan Hengst of Germany. So Mario Leitner still our early leader for Austria after 8 boats down, so still 32 boats to come in this men's kayak semi-final.
But the time was okay.
Yeah, you're right there. It was 86 seconds. So, well, here is Callum Gilbert, 23-year-old from New Zealand, who had a great performance at Lee Valley, finished 5th in the final at the Lee Valley World Cup.
Yeah, he had an incredible weekend. That was delightful to see him doing so well last weekend, but unfortunately he's lost a lot of time on this move.
So he's buried the bows on that move, and he's now taken that. Well, it's a high-risk line. I'll have to wait and see if there's any penalties to go on gate 5, but Callum Gilbert of New Zealand, unfortunately, it's over early on. Yet it's a 50-second penalty on gate 7. I would have said gate 5.
Yeah, we'll probably see it again, but it's a shame. Yeah, maybe he was so good 2 weeks ago, and every success, brings new problems to solve and a new confidence to build, and maybe that's what he needs to find back.
Well, that was a great performance at 5th at the first World Cup, and well, it'll give him great confidence. Of course, the New Zealand team, like everyone else, will be going to the World Championships at the end of September in Sao in order to qualify boat quota places at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. So it's not going to be for Callum Gilbert today on this occasion. No place in the final, but still a lot to build on, and I suspect we'll see Callum racing at the Under-23 World Championships in Krakow in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, he will, certainly.
So,
exciting paddler coming next.
I would agree. Yes, so Thomas says this paddler is exciting. I would agree. So Felix Oschmautz of Austria, who can be deadly fast, but not necessarily that consistent.
Well, yeah, he has had many finals despite his young age, and I remember 2 years ago he won the semi-final at the European Championships here, and yeah, we'll see what he can do now.
Oh, another one rejected on the drop 3 to 4. And just like Callum Gilbert having a big paddle back, but this is his opportunity now to nail the move 5, 6 and 7, and he does that. That's how to do it.
Yeah, I think that's the fastest way we have seen it now.
So he has got a time loss, so it'll be interesting to see just how much. Well,
wow.
He's in touch with his compatriot Mario Leitner, who's our early race leader.
Yeah, he was incredibly fast on gate 4 and 5.
But he has been given a 2-second penalty on the exit of the upstream gate 2.
I think I saw that, yeah.
I did wonder that when he came out. Took a little while to appear.
Oh, he had to go down. Wow, what a recovery. Amazing. Oh.
So it's all caught up a little bit.
Yeah, maybe that's too much to carry in one single run.
I think so. Felix Oschmautz of Austria has pushed the limits, but it's the 50-second penalty on the downstream gate 17, and it's all over, and he knows it, unfortunately. This men's K1 competition tightens up, and the more people make mistakes, you're right, Thomas, the more the opportunities open up for maybe an average run.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, not much guys managed to make it to the end.
So the next up is the winner of last weekend's World Cup race in Bratislava, Ondrej Malik, 24-year-old from Slovakia. He delighted the home crowd in a rather damp Bratislava last Sunday. What can he do here in the sunshine in Slovenia?
Yeah, last weekend was pretty overwhelming. He nailed his last run, and it was so nice to see. Yeah, good exit. I think he won't miss that one. Well done.
So he's a multiple medalist at junior and the under-23 World Championship level, but last weekend was really his first big breakthrough at senior level. Bit sticky, but he has delivered the top section.
Yeah, I think it's a way to do it. Very patient, and the line was pretty direct, so I think the time will be fine.
Wow, that's how to do the upstream gate 8, and he can just... He's really got the water working with him through there. This is the critical section, the next 6 downstream gates. This is where he can win or lose the race.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, he's very patient. He keeps looking at what he can do with the move he had. And look at that, he's pretty nice in the split.
Yep, he's just 0.18 down on race leader Mario Leitner of Austria. A little bit deep in 18, but no dramas there.
Well done.
He'll whip round on 19, and surely he's going to be challenging for the race lead. Remember that race lead, 88.92, and he is going to be into the win.
Well done, man.
Into first place for Ondrej Malik of Slovakia.
Could be our first finalist.
86.82 is the time. Of course, Ondrej Malik, the winner from last weekend, but he's going to have a long wait now because there's still 29 boats to go in this semi-final. 2-minute intervals, so by my calculations, well, I suppose 19 boats to go until we start to know who is in that final. Well, another New Zealand paddler on course, and one to watch, I think. He was 13th last weekend in Bratislava. It's Finn Butcher, and he was 4th at the Under-23 World Championships last year.
Yeah, he had a very decent run last weekend, and he almost made it through the final. Pretty low here, but we've seen that it can be okay for the exit.
Oh, that's a good line there, 5, 6 and 7. Just has to check it round, but he must be relieved. He's delivered the hard bit.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going pretty far in the line. Oh, look at that.
Well,
Right.
he's up on the split. So Finn Butcher has once again found his form.
That's nice. Oh, I haven't seen that one.
No,
Maybe
I have
we'll
to
see
say
it
I didn't
later.
see that either, but a 2-second penalty on gate 10. Now,
Boom.
will he take this move forwards? This is where Malik, the current race leader, was strong.
Pretty slow on that part. Yeah, I think he'll be far away, unfortunately.
Yes, a 3.82, so a bit of time lost plus that penalty, and suddenly distant.
Oh, with another one, it's over.
And unfortunately for Finn Butcher, 2 penalties in 2 gates there, 18 and 19.
And losing his composure at the bottom.
And it's not going to be on this occasion. But again, Finn Butcher of New Zealand showing he has got the pace. He's just got to find that consistency, and that big race experience really is what will bring that.
Yeah, he's on the good way. He's progressed a lot last couple of years.
So our next starter in this 40 boat semi-final of the men's K1, I think is from Japan, and it is Kazuya Adachi. 21st last weekend in Bratislava, and I know he comes from the city of Hagi down in Japan, and clearly this is also part of the Olympic selection process, but a big hit on the hole on gate 1.
Yeah, he couldn't climb on the ramp on the drop, and then he got very in the middle of the huge stopper, and he couldn't get on the left then to the upstream gate.
But he's recovered well, and that's a good line. That's a really good line into 4, because you don't want to go too tight, otherwise your bows hit the rock.
Wow.
And nice, 5, 6 and 7.
Yeah, that was great, but I think he lost so much time on the beginning. Oh,
But a 50-second
hard.
penalty given on the downstream gate 5. And, well, there's a great camera angle on that gate, and we saw that yesterday.
yeah, full confidence to the judge.
It's, unfortunately, it will be either not his whole head or no boat in the gates at the same time. And for the Japanese paddler, unfortunately, Kazuya Adachi, it's, well, that could be significant as well, because this is their Olympic, or part of their Olympic selection trial.
Yep. I don't know what the damage will be for him, but I think it's worth finishing.
It is, and he's definitely, well, he doesn't know necessarily that he's got the penalty, although another 50-second penalty now showing. He's certainly racing it out, because, yeah, he doesn't know what other people are going to do. So good experience there for the competitor, Kazuya Adachi of Japan, but only into 13th place.
Yep. I think the fight will be strong for the Japanese kayakers. Who will go to the Olympics? I don't know. It's pretty tight, the level between them.
Yes, it is indeed. And what does the Olympic selection process look like in Switzerland?
Every race counts, you know, Europeans, all the World Cups, and of course the World Championships.
This year?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a fairly full-on season, and a lot of teams are the same. But let's watch Mate Palachik.
He smashed it completely, and here he's fast as well. Wow.
So the Polish paddler actually missed out on a place in the full senior team
That
this
was a
year.
shame.
So he won't be going to the World Championships, but this is his first opportunity of the season, and look at that, he's seizing the opportunity, and he's up on the split.
Wow, and he had very good results here. I think he was European champion or maybe silver 2 years ago, and he's such a consistent paddler. He had a medal at the Olympics, and it's so fun to watch. And here, unfortunately, he's pretty low, but very nice recovering.
Yeah, so he's a very successful paddler. You're right, he was European champion here in 2017, and I think he's 3-time World Championship medalist as well. So Mateusz Polaczek really showing his class and cutting the line on 18. And, well, he's dropped a bit of time in the middle section, 1.85 seconds down. So he is not quite keeping that momentum all the way through the course, and the time slipping away at the bottom.
Yeah, a lot of time lost on gate 13.
So 89.18 his total time. It's a clean run, but it's only into third place for Mateusz Polaczek of Poland. Still Andrej Malik leads for Slovakia. Mario Leitner of Austria in second. Mateusz Polaczek of Poland in third. And well, we're getting towards the halfway point in this men's K1 semi-final. Myself, Andy Maddock, bringing you the action, and alongside me, Thomas Kirklin of the Swiss team. So next to start, it is Ivan Silva of Portugal, who, again, another one of those competitors who, when he finds the groove, will be able to challenge for a place in the final.
Yeah, probably. He's a paddler who trains in the La Seu d'Urgell, and he's very fast there. And let's see what he can do here. But he just hit the rock. It's a shame.
That's the danger I was saying about being too tight in, and that's an example of it. But he delivers gate 5, 6 and 7
very nicely.
So he does the easy move he struggles with, and then the hard move he absolutely breezes through it. But he has the advantage despite that touch.
Yeah, he was very, very fast on the first drop, on the first upstream gate, so there is something to do.
So Ivan Silva of Portugal, though, it's taking a long time to paddle up the eddy from 10, and it's just sticky, sticky, sticky.
It is. He stroked so much.
And it's just so important, this section. We saw it yesterday in the C1 men and the women's kayak event, how much time changed hands in these 5 or 6 downstream gates.
Yes.
And it's the same again today, because he's now 3.2 seconds down on the split and suddenly is on the back foot and chasing a place in the final.
Well, yeah, he had so much trouble on gate 11, but very nicely done on gate 14, but it won't be enough.
So Ivan Silva of Portugal into 5th place, 91.47. It is a clean run, but it's not going to contest a place in the final. So 15 boats down, 25 boats still to come, and of course they're the fastest 25 boats from the heats on Friday. And next up, another name, hasn't quite found his form this season, but is Michael Smolan of the United States of America, bronze medalist in 2015 at the World Championships, and a 2-time medalist at the Under-23 World Championships.
Yeah, he was very frustrated last weekend because he was 11th and just missed the final. It was very close, and I'm sure he really wants to do it this time. And that was very well nailed.
Yeah.
Wow. I think it will get some penalties here. It's a shame because it was very, very fast.
So yeah, a touch showing on gate 7, but it shows he was fast on the top, because he has absorbed some of that penalty. 0.87 seconds the deficit at the moment.
Come on, guys. Yeah, I'm sure he can do it anyway. He's going to be very, very fast. And that's very nicely done as well.
Well, we've already seen the United States of Evie Liebfarth has a place in the women's C1 final. How much would they like a place in the men's kayak final?
Yeah, glide pretty well this time as well. He could make it.
Well, here he goes. This last upstream gate is fiddly. You've got to get the exit. He's done that
without touching the ground, and it's very well done. It will be so close. He needs to keep pushing. Go on, guy.
89.78, and only 4th place for Michael Smolan of the United States of America. That 2-second penalty just proving the difference at the moment between being in contention perhaps on the button for a place in the final and missing out. But only time will tell. We've seen this course has been pretty harsh on some of the names, and it doesn't seem to respect any of the big names.
That's true. It's such a wide place.
So next up for Slovakia, it is Martin Halsin. He was 5th last weekend in Bratislava. Wow. Takes a big hit and is almost too tight on the upstream gate too.
Very nice recovery anyway. I think the move was fast enough. It was still competitive, and that's pretty nicely done.
So he's a 2-time under-23 European champion, a 2-time junior world champion.
He decided to go direct on the hole, and it worked so well. He's doing very well for now.
But he has taken a 2-second penalty on the upstream gate 4. But look at that, he's still absorbed it, so he is fast.
Yeah, and he's pushing so much strongly. I'm pretty impressed what he's delivering right now.
I'd agree. He really looks like he's taking the risks, but he's finding the lines. And will he take on this move? He's going for the spin on 14, but he keeps the boat moving.
Wow, that's very well done. Yeah.
And he's still in touch. Half a second down on Ondrej Malik of Slovakia.
Pretty stuck between the rocks, but it's fine.
So a little bit low on 18, not the end of the world, but when you're chasing the margins that are in the men's kayak category, you really can't afford to give anything away on any part of the course.
That's it, yeah. And unfortunately, I think because of these mistakes, he will be out.
Well, it's interesting. So he's gone in 4th place, and that time of Ondrej Malik, 86.82, was a pretty good time. It'd be interesting to see just how much the men's kayak can find on this course, given that I know the fastest time yesterday, I think, was Benny Savcek, 84.97.
Yep.
So do you want to introduce your fellow paddler?
Yeah, that's my boy, Martin. I train every day with him, and we are spending so much good times together. And he was pretty in bad shape just in the middle of the bridge, but he pretty nailed well the first upstream gate. He's paddling so well these last times, and I'm sure he will have a good result very soon.
Well, he was
why not today?
15th last weekend, and in fact he's on the up, isn't he? Because he was better than he was in Lee Valley, which was 24th. So by that progression, he should be in the final today.
Oof, that was so close. Oh, unfortunately, too high. Oh, that's a shame. He was so patient at the beginning. He had very good momentum, but maybe too much, maybe not aggressive enough, and yeah, unfortunately, not this time.
So Martin is now 6.5 seconds down.
Yeah, but I would love to see him finishing strong, because it can be very nice to see.
Just put the tail of the boat down, and that makes it difficult to execute that spin. And now 8.78 the deficit, so it is still Ondrej Malik leading for Slovakia, but that's how to do 18, and I would expect we'll see a few dynamic moves on that upstream gate 18, but a touch on 19 now. And unfortunately for Martin Duguid, it's not going to be for Switzerland today.
Yeah, he
into 12th place.
Trouble to find his rhythm.
And disappointment. So here we get to see the bottom part of the course. And just talk us through the bottom part of the course, actually, Thomas, because it's easy to sort of get to the upstream 19 and we sort of say, yes, well, that's the run. How important and how difficult is the bottom section in terms of making sure you don't drop any time?
I think the objective is to... It's not just losing time, it's just smashing every move you can. And I think that's the most important thing on that course, because sometimes you will lose sometimes, that's for sure. So you need to be very aggressive at the rest of the course.
Well, on course now, Mathieu Desnos of Brazil, who's he's had a fairly solid season, but it just picked up a 2-second penalty, which he was right in the mix on the split time. So he's a bronze medalist at the Under-23 Worlds in 2017 and 22nd last weekend in Bratislava.
Yeah, he's a very stylish paddler and not so much experience on the senior championships, but he's improving at every races, and for now he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, 2.5 seconds down on the split now, and a little bit low on 18, just giving away a little bit too much space on that move. We would expect some of the real top boats, the top world ranked top 3 would be just literally presenting their head at the gate.
That was what I was about to say, yeah. And I think he maybe started on a rhythm a bit low, and I think that the top 10 paddler will take any risk and will push each time as hard as they can.
So into 6th place for Mathieu Desnos of Brazil. Still Andre Malik leading for Slovakia. And, well, we're getting towards the halfway point. 21 boats still to go in this men's K1 semi-final. And it is Kieran Lee Edwards of Great Britain on course. Finished 4th boat in the British team selection, so missed out on a full place on the senior team, but he gave a big fight. And, well, up till the last run of the last race was in the mix to take a scalp. And tidy on the top few gates on this course. Now into the business end.
Yeah, as all the British paddler now, very consistent, very strong, and very excited to see what he can do.
Well, he's gone through 5, 6 and 7 comfortably.
Woo!
And that's how to do gate 8. And is he going to take... Well, the split time didn't seem to stop there, but I think he's on pace with our current race leader.
He was in touch. Yeah, this split isn't a good one, so we don't have to pay attention for now, but he's going very high after the gate 10. That's pretty surprising, and I think he has a lot of time, but and it didn't help him so much for the rest of the move, so well, pretty surprised.
Here he comes now. This split time is more accurate, and it looks like 5 second the deficit, partly from that touch on gate 9. He's good on 18, and Kieran Lee Edwards now approaching the upstream 19. Will we get something special there? We will, but you have to watch the tail of your boat, don't you, on the wall. So Kieran Lee Edwards of Great Britain now hasn't quite found it on the middle and the bottom section, but a respectable run into 10th place for Kieran Lee Edwards, and still Andre Malik leading for Slovakia, 86-82. Mario Leitner of Austria in 2nd, Maciusz Polaczyk of Poland in 3rd.
Yeah, he paddled pretty well, but unfortunately I think his line was too far from the pole.
Well, I don't need to point out that the next paddler is from Slovenia because the crowd are making noise. It is Martin Srabotnik who has nailed the first section of the course.
Such a pleasure to hear this nice crowd, very good atmosphere, and I'm sure we will be thrilled from the beginning to the end of his run, and he's nailed again this very hard move.
So, Martin Srabotnik has got a lot of support here at the, well, look at that, 1.82 seconds up on the early split.
So nice to see. A bit low right here, but it's so much damage. Woo! So much glide. You can see the locals are very at ease on all that kind of moves.
Yeah, and he's tidy through 14. I thought he might take it on forwards, but he's delivered it pretty well. And he's still up, but only just now, so his advantage has been trimmed.
Wow, come on, Shubi, nailed that one, and that's what he does very well. Now a short exit would be well, a bit long, but it's fine. And now, boom, the last upstream, it's very well done. I'm sure we'll be in. Come on, guy.
Well, he's down the course now, and surely into the race lead. And he is indeed. Martin Srabotnik of Slovenia takes the race lead, and well, the crowd are pleased about that. Of course, Slovenia took 2 silver medals yesterday in the men's C1 and in the women's K1 event, and we still have Peter Kauser to go, and if you thought that was noisy, then wait for when Peter Kauser is going.
so much pleasure to see those local boys and girls performing at home. Yesterday we got Eva Tercel who nailed this run, and as well as Anzo Beršić who took the bronze yesterday. So silver he took. Sorry, and so exciting to see.
So next up for Japan, it is Kazuki Yazawa. So world ranking of number 60, and well, capable of producing something special, but already a touch on gate 4, just a little bit too high in the stopper, a bit long, but that's how to do gate 5, 6 and 7.
Yeah, he's probably the most consistent Japanese kayaking paddler, and always very smooth, very patient. He seems always very relaxed, but pretty big time loss at the top of section.
Yeah, 5.78 seconds down on the early split time, and now a little bit late in that stagger sequence. The Japanese paddlers, obviously the only nation that know that they have secured a spot at the Tokyo Olympic Games, and already part of that process is this race to select who represents Japan in the men's K1 category.
Yeah, and he's doing his job. He may have heard that his compatriots have missed their run, so he's just paddling slowly, or I wouldn't say slowly because safely, yeah, that's the word, and that's very well done.
Yeah, into 11th place for Kazuki Yazawa, so it's not a place in the final, but a respectable run there with a total time of 93.21, including that penalty on the upstream gate 4. Here we see it, bows of the boat, just taking that 2-second penalty. Well, here's a name to watch, and will give us an indication of the kind of time probably that's capable on this course. It's Jiri Preskovic of the Czech Republic, the World Cup leader after 2 rounds of the World Cup competition. World champion, Olympic bronze medalist from Rio, and always exciting to watch.
Yes, so fun to watch, always cutting the lines as it looks impossible to do.
How did he thread the needle on gate 4 without touching it? And again on 5, 6 and 7.
Oh, I'm overwhelmed. I didn't think that was even possible, you know. Boom.
Wow, that was extraordinary on the top section. He now needs to calm himself down and just get in the line. Now, the tight exit here, he takes the tight exit into 11.
Tight entry, tight exit. Wow, that's crazy. And here, cutting the loud so much, he probably go direct. No, the move doesn't allow him to do so.
I think he planned to do it forwards, but he's not really lost much time. And look at the advantage now, 3.28 seconds. And Jiri Preskovic has found his mojo here.
And cutting the line again, that was very, very fast as well. I would not be surprised to see the timing even lower than 3.28 seconds at the end.
Well, here he comes, Jiri Preskovic of the Czech Republic, surely into the final on the basis of this run. 83.58, and that includes a 2-second penalty. That was put on gate 14. I didn't see that, but well, I don't think that will actually hamper him getting into the final.
Wow.
Outstanding stuff, and how risky was that through 4, 5, 6 and 7?
Yeah, for him, I don't think that was too risky, because that's what he does every day. So he's so used to cutting lines and to throw his head everywhere he can. So yeah, he's just doing his job.
Well, the race is coming alive. We're now at the halfway point in this semi-final, and Jiri Preskovic leads for the Czech Republic. Next up, it is Igor Sviet of the Ukraine. Ukraine, of course, had a great day yesterday, taking bronze medal in the women's kayak event. Victoria Us.
That's so nice to see. And look at that, he had such a bad move between gate 3 and 4, and unfortunately he couldn't make it very well to the next gate. And here he's pretty late, but I think he's in. So if he finishes strong, it could be a place into the final.
Yeah, not very pretty on the top section, but he is managing to hold it together and avoid any penalties. But 5 seconds, well, over 5 seconds, the deficit now
Well, yeah, but compared to what Yuri Priskavek did, I think if you are less than 3 seconds from Yuri, you're still in your run, you know.
That's a good point, Thomas, yes. So, still, he now has picked up a 2-second penalty and slipping away 8.71. Well, at the moment, that would be outside of the top 10 if that deficit continues. So we've got some big names still to come in this men's K1 semi-final. So Igor Svet of the Ukraine. And it's running out of time to find the magic moment. Now into the finish line and outside the final into 17th place for Igor Svet. So Yuri Priskovic is still leading, although there is an asterisk against his time. They may be reviewing that penalty. Martin Srabotnik of Slovenia is in second place. Andrej Malik, the winner from last weekend in Bratislava for Slovakia, is in third. But here, well, Italy had the day yesterday. 2 gold medals in this World Cup competition. Can they repeat it today? On course now is Zino Ivaldi, who is the Under-23 World Championship silver medalist in 2016. 7th earlier on this year at the Europeans, and just missed out in the final in Lee Valley in 11th place.
Yeah, and he knows that place very well. He doesn't live so far from here. I'm sure he really wants to have a good result right here, even it doesn't count in the Olympic selections. And for now, he's doing pretty well.
Yes, he's a bit sticky on a couple of points, but he's kept it clean, kept it moving. And well, that's 3.81, as you said. Is more reflective of what Yuri Priskovic achieved on the top section.
Yep. But yeah, it was continuing, was fighting, because Yuri was so fast on the top, but here he lost a lot of time again on gate number 11.
Yeah, and it's not a great idea on 14 to stick the tail of the boat down. It makes it much harder to get across and get around the pole.
But look at that, he didn't lose much time. He's on the same, he's late, he's keeping the same...
yeah, he's keeping the same difference,
yeah,
so it is a good run, and it is in contention, I think, for top 3 at the moment.
Probably,
so
yeah.
Zino Evaldi goes into 4th place, 88.51, a clean run for the young Italian, and still, now that asterisk has come off for Yuri Priskovic, just come off, so confirmed as 83.58. That does include a 2-second penalty, and that is currently good enough for first place, and I'm sure good enough for a place in the final. So next is the world number 1, Vit Prindis of the Czech Republic. He started his season as the European champion in 2019, but since then he hasn't had things all his way.
Well, yeah, he's such a consistent paddler, such a nice way to paddle, always very straight on his boat and gliding so much. That's what he's doing right now.
So 4 World Cup wins to his name, and he makes that look easy through 5, 6 and 7.
I think he won't be so far from really. At least 2 seconds would be great.
Well, he's actually up. That is a good top section, because he's up on compatriot Yuri Priskovic.
Yeah.
Tight in 10. Will he take the direct line?
He glided so much, and that's the way to do it on such a course.
Woo! Well, Vit Prindis is on the charge here.
Wow.
Keeps his boat flat on 14. Now he's got to get on the gas again, and we'll get an indication. He has extended the advantage as he comes into the bottom section. You can't really, you can only lose the race on that bottom section. But did he touch it on the way out?
I think he did, but he was even faster than Yuri, I think, on this upstream gate. And he tried to push on the wall. It didn't work so well because he's very slippery. But probably it will be a very competitive time.
Well, look at that, 84.57, and that includes a 2-second penalty. So it is into second place for Vit Prindis of the Czech Republic. And again, it shows the kind of pace that we can expect. I'm starting to wonder, though, whether we will go under 80 seconds. But we'll have to wait and see. We've still got some big names to come. Joseph Clark, Olympic champion. We've got Peter Kauser, of Slovenia, the Olympic silver medalist, and well, big name. And actually, here's a name that was disappointed last weekend. It didn't make it even into the semi-finals on his home course. Jakub Grigor of Slovakia, very capable of delivering a big performance here.
Yeah, last weekend was pretty sad for him and for his crowd, because he was on the favorite boats and he couldn't make it through the semi-finals. And he's such a consistent boat. I remember he won the semi-final at the Olympic Games, but he had pretty much trouble to deliver a good run the last couple of years, and I really hope he will do well on the next races.
Well, he's up on the top split, so it's great to see he is taking the charge here.
Yeah, he found some aggressivity. He had lost pretty much last couple of weeks, and really enjoy seeing what I'm seeing.
Well, he's a two-time under-23 world champion, a two-time junior world champion. Wow. So he's taken on that move forwards, and he's extended the advantage, 1.22.
That was very nice to see. Now we need to nail that one pretty well.
And he does that. And that was where Vit Prindis lost the time in 18, but no problems for Jakub Grigor of Slovakia.
Could be the first time, the best time.
Well, the time is slipping away, but he is going to surely take the race lead. It's going to be close and outside, so just on the bottom section, left a little bit out there. But Jakub Grigor of Slovakia, I think, is comfortable. So I think he'll be in the mix for a place in the final.
I'm so glad to see him back in the final. I'm very happy about that. Now, Pepe Gonzalez, very fun guy to watch, and fun as well to follow on Instagram. Such active guy, and very talented as well.
Well, let's watch. He was sixth at the Olympic Games on his home course in Rio de Janeiro, but hasn't really managed to put in a decent run in this season so far. But it looks like he's really started his run the way he means it to carry on. That's a good line. Just needs to be patient through 5, 6 and 7, which he is. And a good start for Pepe.
Yeah, that's an interesting guy to watch, always taking a lot of risks, and look at that, it pays off.
So he's in touch with the race leader, he's slightly ahead. Wow. And that's what he needs, but quite high on the exit of 10. Oh, too high.
Why are they going so high? It doesn't help for gate number 10 and 11, it's a shame.
So he's got to regroup now.
Yes.
No penalties. Well, as I speak, he now has a penalty. But it was all about, he had that rhythm, he was in the groove. And look at that, he's now nearly 5 seconds down on the split time.
Yeah, I think it's so bad, because it's just a mistake of analyzing, and just... Yeah, I don't know why he went that far up after the exit.
Well, it was almost as if he did gate 10, the upstream, so well that he got a squirt from the back of his boat and he wasn't able to control it. But unfortunately there, it is only 10th place for Pedro Goncalves of Brazil.
The rhythm was there, the speed was there, but one mistake and everything's over.
Well, he'll be encouraged by that, because he got a pace. And it is, though, still Jiri Priskovic leading for the Czech Republic, ahead of Jakub Grigor of Slovakia and Vit Prindis of the Czech Republic. So next up for Sweden, it's Isaac Öström, 14th last weekend in the Bratislava, the second World Cup race of the season. So not far off a place in the final. Just needs to deliver it now for a place in the final.
So fast on the two first upstream gates. Oh, very stuck here. Oh, and a touch. A lot of time lost here.
Yes, unfortunately there, the compounded problem of the 2-second penalty and that stickiness sitting in the stopper, and it uses valuable energy as well.
Yeah.
Because he will have been pulling hard on the blade and it not happening. But speaking of not happening, There's another touch on the upstream gate 10. Isaac Öhrström of Sweden, unfortunately. It's just not quite happening for him today as he takes 14 forwards. But he's again costing a bit more time, and now you can see 7.3 seconds the deficit.
Yeah, and he gets stuck again between the rocks. And I think we will have some more surprises on gate number 4, because I think he was pretty well, but he stood in the hole, unfortunately.
So outside of a place in the top 10 for Isaac Öhrström of Sweden. Now paddling it out, and it's still Jiri Priskovic of the Czech Republic leading the way, and actually he's leading the World Cup Series after the first 2 races of the season. Priskovic finished 4th in Bratislava, 2nd in Lee Valley, so consistent record so far. And well, we're getting close. We've 11 boats to go in this semi-final, so after the next paddler we'll start to know who is qualified into the final. And on course now, Dariusz Popiela of Poland, who's had a good start to the season, silver in the European Championships, and he was 9th in Bratislava, so he made the final last weekend as well.
Yeah, one of the most experienced paddler, and one of the paddlers that paddles the most. He keeps paddling so much with an incredible rhythm, and he can be extremely fast.
Well, super good through that top section. Had to work a little bit, 4 to 5, but I think he will be in touch, if not ahead, on the split. Well, it's pretty much in touch, just 0.08 of a second down, and certainly what's needed to get in the final, but a little bit just pushed back on 10.
Yep, couldn't find the line. His boat kept moving on the right and on the left, and not so much speed on the right direction, and that's a good way to do it on gate 14.
I would agree, and look at that, still in touch, half a second down on race leader Jiri Priskovic of the Czech Republic. So Popiela of Poland, wow, that's a bit high risk, but
yeah,
it worked for him.
Very aggressive, a bit too much, and I think that wasn't so fast, and unfortunately climbing the rocks.
Well, how much time will that last upstream have cost him? It's good time. He's still going to be in contention, but it's slipping away. 6th place, and down in 4.6 seconds. That's bottom section, the combination of that upstream 18 and then hitting the wall on 19.
Maybe 1.5 seconds lost, and he lost a lot of energy as well, so that's a mistake which puts him off.
10 to go in this men's kayak semi-final, and we'll start to confirm who has qualified into the final. That's at around about 12:30 Central European time. But join us at 12 o'clock, of course, for the women's C1 final. Michał Pasiut for Poland now on course, and he won a silver medal last weekend. He was in fine form.
Yeah, he's one of the guy which is in the best form. So much progression last couple of years, and he seems unstoppable. Here he had little problems on gate number 6, but no penalties appearing now.
Well, he's down, and that was the garage, as I call it, on gate 4. Got his bow stuck against the wall, and Michał Pasiut has a deficit and a 2-second penalty picked up on the upstream gate 10.
It's gonna be hard, but he's a very strong paddler. He's going very fast right now, so it's still possible for him here. A lot of glides, I love that, and now he needs to push strong and find the right way to go faster.
Well, he's closed the gap despite that 2-second penalty. He's closed the deficit, so he is finding the pace, but is it going to be enough on this bottom section? He's pretty good. It's going to be outside the race lead time, but it's all about whether he can get himself into the top 3 and stand a chance. He into 6th place, 87.12, and 3.5 seconds down. It's really tight around, Andre Malik in 5th place, 86.82, and then it's really, really tight below that.
I think you need to be under like 85 to be sure to be in.
So still Jiri Briskovic leading from the Czech Republic, Jakub Grigor of Slovakia in second, Vit Prindis of the Czech Republic in third, and Jiri Briskovic, the first of our qualifiers, as we watch Bradley Forbes Cryans of Great Britain start off, the Flying Scotsman, as I call him, and now a tidy line into the first upstream gate 2.
Yeah, I saw the first upstream gate moving, but I think it's the water who pushed the gate, so no penalty added to his time.
So he takes the off the back of the whole option, and he has to spin, but he looks like he's got away with it.
Wow, what a recovery, that was beautiful. He had a very bad stopper to help him to reach gate number 4, and he made it anyway, so congratulations to him.
Well, he's got a little bit of a deficit to chase now, but
wow,
he is in touch.
That's nice.
This is where it matters now. He's got to find this line. Ooh. And can he open it up? Can he even take on 14 forwards? Well, at one stage I thought he was going to take that on forwards.
A bit of time loss because of the way to turn.
But
wow.
Well, he has trimmed it. 0.23. He is in touch. Let's watch 18. And
wow,
nicely done by Bradley Forbes Cryans as he comes into the upstream gate 19. He won a bronze medal here in 2016 in the World Cup race, so he likes this water, and it's a competitive time, and he's just got to see where is he going to fit in. Fourth place for Bradley Forbes Cryans.
It's probably be in. I'm impressed. That's the way to do it. You know, his run, he had some problems. The water didn't help him so much, but he kept pushing. He stood strong, and he finally made it. That's huge.
Well done, Bradley, into fourth place, and at the moment it is Jiri Briskovic and Jakub Grigor who are into the final. Vit Prindis sitting waiting to see. And next up for Australia, it's Lucien Delfort.
Yeah, one of the most aesthetic paddlers to see. Very good positioning and very nice momentum. And look at that. That's pure canoe slalom.
Yes, and he's a real risk taker.
Wow.
So it'll be interesting to see what he does on this move 5, 6 and 7. Whoa. And well, it'd be interesting to see whether there's that looks a bit dodgy, and it is a 50-second penalty on gate 5, unfortunately for Lucien Delfort of Australia, and unfortunately he just was never close enough to gate 5.
Yeah, that's it. He got a bit stuck at the end of the stopper and couldn't reach the gate.
Let's watch, because he's still paddling really, really well. He's showing us how to do it. But it's not going to be a final for Lucien today.
Yep, and the split didn't stop. But he would be very in touch, I think. Oh, not anymore, probably.
So I'm surprised that the athletes are not doing that on the back of the blade on 18. I thought there'd be more sneaking in. But the penalty's adding up now. They are reviewing gate 5, but I suspect that will be just to check another camera angle on there. And here, this is a great camera angle to check it out. The whole head has to be in the gate line, and the decision, obviously, that unfortunately for Lucien, that is outside the gate. There's the different camera angles that the judges have to make sure this is a fair competition. But well, I don't need to introduce the fact there's a Slovenian next on course, because you can hear the crowd winding up as Nico Testen, the young paddler, 22 years of age for Slovenia, is on course.
Yeah, he's improving himself a lot this year, and he managed to be in the team and to beat his teammate Zan Yakse, who is a very consistent paddler as well, and he's starting so well.
Yeah, and he was 9th at the Lee Valley World Cup, so he made a final already this season, and he's going to be outside the split time, but 1.1, that is the kind of territory to make it into the final.
I was about to say that he was very smooth, maybe a little too much, because here He didn't cut the line enough. He was too much down the stopper, and it cost a lot. He lost many times. Wow, going for a direct.
He's going to now spin though.
For now, yeah, the direct move here didn't pay off for now. We haven't seen any good ones.
So at the moment, Nico Testen for Slovenia is certainly cutting the lines, but it looks like it's slipping away a little bit on this section. A touch on 19, a touch on 18 as well. And I guess bad news for Slovenia, but good news for Great Britain's Bradley Forbes-Cryans, because he makes it into the final. And so at the moment, Yuri Priskovic, Jakub Grigar, Vit Prindis and Bradley Forbes-Cryans are into this afternoon's final. And 6 boats still to go. Included, of course, in that is the local favourites, Peter Kauser. And the Kauser army are out in force in the grandstand. But next up, it is Malo Canoe of France, who is, well, again, a young French developing athlete, but very capable of getting into the final.
Yeah, he can be extremely fast. I've seen him on French Cups, and he was absolutely flying. He's a very aggressive paddler, and oh, what a shame! He just fall on his right side. It's a shame. A lot of time lost here.
Malo Canoe making light work of 5, 6 and 7. So yeah, a bit of time lost on the top, but keeping it honest here as he comes down through gate 8. And the split time didn't stop. I would ignore that split time. I think it's late. He is down on the split.
Yeah, it's not so bad. It could be a good run. He needs to keep doing well, to keep doing what he knows to do. And here he's cutting the light very much, going for a direct. Wow, that's the best direct we have seen now, and I think the best move. Wow, that was extremely fast. Look at that.
Yeah, and
wow.
He is in the mix, and importantly, he's in the mix for a place in the final, because, of course, he doesn't have to win the race on this run. He just needs to get into the top 10.
Nice. Nicely done.
So, Malo Canoe of France now. A bit sticky on that upstream 19.
Yeah, that's a shame. Oh, and with this touch, it already cost him the final. What a shame. He had it in his hand.
Snatched away, I think, on this occasion. And, well, how many times will he replay that gate 20 in his head, that touch? Only into 9th place, but that is good news for Slovenia, because Martin Srabotnik is into the final. 5 boats still to go in this men's K1 semi-final.
Yep.
And the Slovenian crowd are warming up, because up next it is, well, the legend of this sport, Peter Kauser, Olympic medalist. He's a world champion, he's European champion, and super consistent.
Ooh, what a jump. Yeah, it's an expert. There is no word to describe his skills on this course. Look at that. Wow, he flies.
Yeah, and he's had 21 World Cup podiums.
Boom.
That's a pretty good record in this such a competitive category, but he is on fire on the top section of the course.
Completely, so much glide. Wow, look at that.
Well,
That's crazy.
He's up on the split. He's doing what is required, and he's doing more than that now as he comes into the gate 11. Well, the noise is deafening here in the grandstand as the Peter Kauser fans cheer him down the course.
Yes, so much momentum, so much easiness it looks. He doesn't look like he has to push his limits, you know. It's just showing his skills.
Well, he's up on the split, 1.5 seconds nearly. So surely Peter Kauser is about to book himself a place in this afternoon's final. It's going to be outside of the lead time, but into 3rd place. And I think we know there's more in the tank for the final.
Yeah.
Into 3rd place for Peter Kauser of Slovenia and into the final. So Priskovic still leads for the Czech Republic, and he'll be joined by Jakub Grigar, Peter Kauser, Vit Prindis Bradley, Forbes, Bryans and Martin Shrabotnik at the moment are our qualifiers, but we still have 4 boats to go in this semi-final, and then the fastest 4 boats from the heats on Friday. Well, I never rule this chap out either. It's Giovanni Di Gennaro of Italy, who is, well, I think he's won 2 World Cup races. He's been in lots of finals, and 7th at the Olympic Games in Rio. And of course the Italians are pretty familiar with this site. It's not that far from the Italian border.
Yes, it is. He's a very strong paddler, a bit stuck right here, but it's okay. Pretty fast anyway, and yeah, one of the best Italian boats ever, after probably Daniele Molmenti.
Yeah, and you'd probably say that Giovanni is one of those people who could spoil that Peter Kauser party. And he is down, 2.6 seconds down on the early split, but he's looking composed through this section.
Woo! What a spin. That was great.
Yeah, look at that, he's trimmed it down. 0.43 now, and very much on track for a place in the final. Giovanni Di Gennaro cutting the line on 18. Now, there's been a few people who have not quite delivered 19, but no problem there for Di Gennaro of Italy. It's not going to be the race lead, I don't think, but it is going to be a place in the final. Into 6th place and into the final.
Yep.
So job done for Giovanni Di Gennaro.
Well done.
And well done. He joins the others in the final. 3 boats still to go. Andrej Malik of Slovakia sitting next on the bubble. The winner, of course, from last weekend's World Cup race in Bratislava. And there's 3 boats to go, and he'll have to wait and see whether he's done enough. Antoine Launay of Portugal on course now, 26-year-old, and well, he performed really well in the heats, coming 3rd. There's quite a challenge for him to deliver again in this final, but he has nailed the move.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That was very nice. Such a strong paddler. He's maybe one of the heaviest of the kayaker paddling today, but probably the strongest.
Well, a little push backstroke through 5, 6 and 7. That's kept him clean. No penalties to add to his time.
Wow.
And he's really looking very fluid.
Yeah, that's the word. And here again, well done.
So Antoine Launay coming through gate 11 now. He was just a second down on the split. If he can hold on to that, then he'll be in this afternoon's final.
Boom. Wow, yeah, he's very composed. It's very... Wow, look at that.
And he's not just keeping in touch, he has opened up a gap. He is our virtual race leader. A little bit sticky on 17 and again on 18, but he's surely, if he could just deliver this upstream gate 19, then he's surely looking at a place in the final. He missed out 12th place in Bratislava, 12th place in Lee Valley. Surely it's going to be a top 10 finish.
Wow.
And into 2nd place for Antoine
Congratulations.
Launay of Portugal. And he is happy.
Congratulations to the Portuguese stallion.
Oh, that's good news there. Jiří Priskovic still leading for the Czech Republic, and Andrej Malik of Slovakia still sitting in 9th place, the winner from last weekend, waiting to see if he has done enough to get into the final. 2 boats to go, and the next up it's Daniel Watkins of Australia. Well, he had a good day on Friday. He was first qualifier, fastest qualifier in the men's C1 event, and then 2nd fastest in the K1 men's event.
Yeah, a bit lost his balance on the first option gate, but here he's pretty fast. Wow.
Well, he's certainly taking the attack here and ducking and diving. We'll have to wait and see if there's any penalties on there for Daniel Watkins.
That was very aggressive, as he knows to do it. But still nothing. It's fine.
Well, he's in touch on the split, 1.3 down, and that would be okay. If he can hold on to that deficit, then he would be in the final. Daniel Watkins now ducking and diving through 13. He'll go for the spin on 14, and he keeps it running. So it's good. He's up. He's virtual race leader now. Daniel Watkins of Australia. He had a disappointing day in the semi-final yesterday in the men's C1, but so far it looks good for Australia here.
The most important thing for him is to keep clean, because that's something he has trouble to do. But for now it's very well done, and it probably in.
Oh, but he has been given a 50-second
it
penalty.
finally happened.
Well,
that's a shame.
Daniel Watkins of Australia snatched place in the final, really snatched away at the end, but he did wave his head a bit at gate 5.
He doesn't seem so surprised, so it probably be it.
So that's good news
Almost.
for Ondrej Malik of Slovakia, because he is our next qualifier. And that's Daniel Watkins' downfall. So one place left up for grabs. Dariusz Popiela of Poland sitting in 10th place. And on course, Joe Clark, the Olympic champion from Rio 2016. And of course, the winner of the first World Cup of the season is on course.
Whoa. Yeah, he has won almost every run since the beginning of the season. When he didn't win, he was the fastest, but he had penalties. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a huge time.
Well, here he goes, ducking and diving through 5, 6 and 7. No big risks taken there. So Joe Clark of Great Britain looking like he is on track. But just a second down. Well, that's on track for a place in the final. Yeah,
a bit of trouble on the top section. A bit struggling, a bit against the current. So it's pretty unusual to see him in that position, but very fast anyway.
Well, he has to sneak inside 14, but keeps it clean. And actually, it's a pretty tidy and fast section through there. And he's got the advantage now, 0.36.
Look at that. He cuts the line completely between the rocks, and because of his big arms, he managed to be fast anyway.
Well, Joe Clark of Great Britain now. He has to go inside a time of 88.18 in order to get into this afternoon's final. And it looks like he's going to be comfortably inside that. Joe Clark is into third place.
Easy peasy, Bob.
And that's the job done for the Olympic champion. So that's a big lineup we've got in this men's kayak final for this afternoon. Yuri Priskovic, well, he will go off last in that final, but we've got all three Olympic medalists from Rio in that final. And, we've got the likes of the world number 1, Vit Perindis as well, Giovanni De Gennaro, and Ondrej Malik of Slovakia, the winner from last weekend. So don't forget to join us this afternoon, and 12 o'clock Central European time, the finals get underway with the women's C1. But the men's K1 will follow immediately after that at around about 12:30 Central European time. So that concludes the racing in the semi-finals here in the third World Cup race of the 2019 ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup season. And, the finals are going to be very exciting indeed. There's just, tiny margin really, just 3 seconds separating the top 3 in this men's K1 semi-final. So it'll be interesting to see how the final unfolds. So you must join us for that this afternoon here on Planet Canoe, 12:30 Central European time, but join us at 12 o'clock for the women's C1 final. Of course, as well, we've got the Extreme Canoe Slalom, which will get underway at 3 o'clock this afternoon Central European time. Head-to-head racing, the new format of racing Extreme Canoe Slalom. And certainly really exciting, action-packed racing, which will wrap up the competition here in Slovenia. The weather forecast, well, it's lived up to the expectation, and we've certainly got perfect conditions for racing. And here are the 10 qualifiers, so they will race in reverse order in this afternoon's final. And some big names in there. The Olympic champion, you've got a world champion in there, you've got the world #1, winner from last weekend, Malik, and Yuri Priskovic, who is the World Cup Series leader. So big names to miss out. Well, it's a surprise that Darius Popiella's not in. Matthias Pelacic very close to getting in. And, well, 2 Slovenian boats in that 10-boat final. Pity we haven't seen Vavry Hradlek of the Czech Republic, but still not quite finding his form this season. But it's certainly gone to form in many ways. The top boats are in that final, and lots to look forward to. So that concludes the action here in Tarsen and Slovenia in the semi-finals. And, well, you'll need to join us this afternoon for those finals. Finals get underway 12 o'clock Central European time with the women's C1 and then followed by the men's K1. Join us then, because we are assured of some exciting action. We'll see you at 12 o'clock Central European time. Bye for now.